Hello and welcome back to another video from the DebateGate Sports Podcast. Today, bringing you some more March Madness action. First two rounds just concluded, not just concluded, but a few days ago. Sweet 16 is on Saturday, so I'm going to bring you a preview of the Sweet 16. I'm actually going to be power ranking the 16 teams that are still in the tournament, just based on overall how good I think they are and their chances on winning it all this year, based on how they played and just like their overall talent in general. But if you guys are new, please subscribe. We are on the road to 100 subscribers, so subscribing would be greatly appreciated. It would help out the channel a lot. So yeah, let's get on to it. At number 16, we got the Oral Roberts Golden Eagles, the 15th seed, making it into the Sweet 16. How rare is that? Pull off a miraculous upset over Ohio State in overtime. And then Florida in the second round, another close game. But they still have one of the most dynamic scorers in the country in Max Abmas. Yep, Max Abmas, 24.5 points per game, which is insane for college. But yeah, overall, I still don't think Oral Roberts is that good of a team. And I don't think they will even come close to winning it all. It would be a miracle if they even got out of the Sweet 16 and into the Elite Eight, because they will be playing Arkansas, who is the 3 seed. But yeah, Oral Roberts, what a miraculous run, but they're still 16th on my list. At number 15, if it loads, we have the Villanova Wildcats. And you may be asking, Gavin, Villanova's a 5 seed, and they're one of the most respectable programs in the country. Yes, but I was surprised that they got here, and they had an easier road than most expected. They beat Winthrop, which I had predicted, because I just know these things. They did it by pounding the ball inside. Look at this. Robinson Earl with 22 points, 11, 6, and 18 in game 2. So yeah, they beat Winthrop, and then they were expected to play Texas, but or not Texas, excuse me. They played North Texas. They were expected to play Purdue, but Purdue's bad, so they got upset. And then they smoked North Texas, again by pounding the ball inside, but, this isn't an analysis video. So now they're going to have to come up with one of the best teams in the country, the Baylor Bears. And I just don't see that happening. The loss of Colin Gillespie got them this far, but it's not going to get them out of the Sweet 16, in my opinion. At number 14, we got the Oregon State Beavers, another double-digit seed that's in the Sweet 16. And man, did they look good, riding their momentum, winning the Pac-12. Weren't even supposed to make it into the tournament, but since they won the Pac-12, they got the automatic bid. And then they came in, made it to the Sweet 16, beat 2 top 5 seeded teams. Tennessee, the 5 seed, smoked them. I did predict this upset as well. And then they beat Oklahoma State, a team that I had going pretty far. And yeah, again, riding some of their best guys. Their center, what's his name, Silva, as well as Ethan Thompson, who's been their lead guy. Silva's actually stepped up quite a bit. Roman Silva, that's right. Roman Silva has stepped up quite a bit, but, Ethan Thompson, he was expected to do quite a bit. He was the leading scorer, and, you see why. So Oregon State, again, I don't see them going very far. They will be playing the Cinderella of college basketball in recent years, Loyola Chicago, who, by the way, they are legit this year. Don't call them a Cinderella, even though I just did. But yeah, enough of the Oregon State. They are ranked 14th on my list. At number 13, we have the UCLA Bruins, another team that was not supposed to go very far because they had to play the play-in game against Michigan State, in which they were not the favorite. But man, when you have Johnny Juzang on your team, it makes it a hell of a lot easier. 15 points a game this year, and he's come up really, really big in these games for UCLA. They beat Michigan State. You see, and then look, Juzang with 27 against BYU. BYU could not get a stop on them, but 73 points per game in a March Madness game is actually pretty good. But then, since Texas lost, they got to face Abilene Christian, who they absolutely destroyed from start to finish. Now they will have a challenge in Alabama. Very, very big challenge, as Alabama is one of the best teams still remaining, in my opinion. So yeah, because of that, I don't think UCLA deserves to be much higher than 13. They've played well up to this point, but, I just think the road will end here at Alabama. At number 12, we got a team that should be higher when you look at the way that they've played, but it's Creighton at 12. They'll be playing Gonzaga. And the reason I have them this low is because the Sweet 16 run should not have happened had UC Santa Barbara actually closed a game. Yes, UC Santa Barbara, a team that I picked to beat Creighton, missed a layup, went all the way around and out with like 1 second left, so they won. You see here by 1 point. But nonetheless, they looked good, especially against Ohio. They did look good, won by 14. And you see here, Marcus Zagorowski was 17 and then 20 in the next game, as well as Christian Bishop, who's been very, very good for them as well. As a good interior defender and a glass cleaner. So Creighton has a good thing going, but again, they play the machine that is Gonzaga. So that, along with the fact that they probably should have lost to UC Santa Barbara, if that shot goes in, has them down here at 12. At number 11, a team that I was high on, and they're winning, but they're not really looking great doing it. Florida State Seminoles. They have the guys. They have MJ Walker, Scotty Barnes. But they struggle to score. And when they beat Colorado in the round of 32, it was a struggle to score. You see here 71 points, but in the first half they had like 25. So obviously putting up big numbers in the second half, but for the first half of that game, they were struggling. They got some bench support from something polite. I'm going to check that name because, that's who I am. Anthony Polite, that's right. So seeing some step up from role players like that is always good to see. But yes, Florida State barely beat UNC Greensboro. They were expected to win easily, but then they won even easier English against Colorado when they played really good defense. So having 53.5 points per game coming up against an injured Michigan team. I really like Florida State's chances, but they gotta play better than this. I think the expectations are higher than that style of play, but continue the defense and try and find some more balanced scoring so that you don't have to go to guys like Anthony Polite to win these games. But yeah, Florida State at 11. Another team that has not won really convincingly is the Houston Cougars, who are at number 10. They've relied on Quentin Grimes quite a bit, the Kansas transfer, but they were this close to getting upset by Rutgers, which really scares me because Houston was a team that I was high on. And if you had told me this after their win against Cleveland State, I'm like, I would consider them a top 5 team. Now they're dropped down all the way to 10. You see here, 63-60 in that game. They were losing for in the last minute of that game. You see here, again, relying on Quentin Grimes, relying on your star. It's always good to see. And then they play Syracuse, which would be a very, 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 very good game. I'm excited to watch that. But yeah, Houston, we need to find a little bit more scoring. And if they can do that, I think they stand a chance against Syracuse. Well, stand a chance. They're probably favorited. But I think if they can score on Syracuse's tough zone, I think they should easily make it to the Elite Eight. At number 9, we got Arkansas, a team that had another first-round scare when Colgate just came out of the gates. But here's what makes me happy when I look at Arkansas. They fought back. They went on like a 17-0 run against Colgate. And you see here, their star, Smith. I'm sorry, I do not follow Arkansas basketball. This is embarrassing. Moses Moody has been their star the whole year. I do know that. But Justin Smith. That's who. Yes, Moses Moody and Justin Smith. Moses Moody has been good, but Justin Smith has taken the step up, as you see here on these little stat lines down here. So yeah, Arkansas, they beat Colgate, and they should have at least gone to overtime with Texas Tech. Texas Tech missed 2 layups down the stretch, so survived in advance. Arkansas is in the Sweet 16, playing Oral Roberts, a team that they are heavily favored in. I think it's almost a lot for them to make it to the Elite Eight. But yeah, I like what I'm seeing from Arkansas. A assuming that they meet Baylor in the final, or not Final Four, Elite Eight, that would be an extremely good matchup. And I think Arkansas could give Baylor a run for their money. But moving on to the number 8 seed, which is Houston's matchup, the Syracuse Orange. Man, that zone is tough. That zone is so tough. Another 11 seed, this high up on the power rankings, very rare. But look at this. They beat San Diego State by 16, but it was so much more than that. They were by like 25 with like 3 minutes to go before San Diego State actually decided to play offense. San Diego State was at 35 points with like halfway through the second half. So it was a lot. The score does not tell the whole story there. Buddy Boeheim, he's like my game. He's like a 6'8" two-guard that just does not miss, because that's totally what I am. 30 points against San Diego State, 25 against West Virginia. West Virginia was a bit closer, but again, they had a lead in the second half, and West Virginia kind of cut it close. But yeah, another survive and advance game. There's no one's really been able to figure out the zone. Really, you see West Virginia scored here, but they also have one of the better offenses in the country. Houston is not as good as West Virginia on the offensive end, in my opinion, and statistically speaking. So again, the zone could give Houston some trouble. So I honestly think Syracuse would beat Houston in this matchup. So yeah. Anyways, that's enough about Syracuse. Moving on to the 7 seed, which is the first 1 seed we have here. There are only 3 1 seeds remaining, but it's Michigan. And the Isaiah Livers injury is definitely starting to show. We beat Texas Southern, no problem. Then LSU, that was a scare. They won by 8. They were losing for probably 75% of the game. They got some support off the bench by Chauncey Brown in that game, but Hunter Dickinson wasn't great, and Franz Wagner also wasn't great. So if it weren't for Chauncey Brown, I think Michigan would be going home. They really need to pick it up. So Dickinson and Wagner, their other 2 stars, need to pick it up offensively for when they meet Florida State, because of how relentless the Seminoles are on defense. So yeah, this will be definitely Michigan's biggest test in the March Madness tournament so far. I don't know how it's going to go for them. I really don't. I could see it going either way, but so they're at 7 on my power rankings. At number 6, we got the Sister Jean team, Loyola, Chicago Ramblers. They're so fun to watch. Cameron Krutwig, he's got such an old man game, but it works so well. They smacked Illinois by 13 points. One of the best defensive teams in the tournament. 60 points and then 58 points. I mean, come on. That's just ridiculous numbers. Lucas Williamson, you see here, 21 points. Cameron Krutwig. In this game against Illinois, he's been their rock. 19, 12, and 5 for a center. So good. And if he can continue that, I don't see a reason why Loyola cannot make it to the Final Four, really, because their next matchup is Oregon State, and they'd either meet Syracuse or a Houston team that has not been playing great. So Loyola is one of the hottest teams in the tournament. I have them at 6. So, yeah, very, very high for them. I can't wait to see how Loyola does against Oregon State. It's funny because they'll beat the ACC champion, the Big Ten champion. Will they beat the Pac-12 champion? We shall see on Saturday. At number 5, we have the Oregon Ducks, a team that I have not watched play much because their game against VCU was an automatic win because it was an uncontested game. But then they smacked Iowa 95-80. And you really start to see how good Chris Duarte really is. Some people will argue that it's just Iowa's defense is terrible, which I can also see. But at the end of the day, there's no doubt that Oregon's offense is very, very good. I mean, if you put up 95 points in a game, this team's going to go far. And it'll be a great matchup to watch them against USC, because USC being the really good defensive team that they are, having the 2 Mobley brothers. I'm really excited to watch that matchup. If Oregon can maintain this offense, they expect them to maybe make a run at the Final Four. So Oregon's at number 5. At number 4, we have their opponent, the USC Trojans. And man, have I don't like them on the football field, but they are fun to watch on the basketball court. You see all these Mobleys. There are 2 Mobleys here. So I think the rebounds are Evan and the points are Isaiah. And Evan is likely going to be the number 2 overall pick in the NBA draft. And yeah, he's got incredible passing, incredible post game. Little scrawny, but like he is still just like a glass cleaner. He's got ridiculous length, freakish length, and can shot block with the best of them. So you see here they beat Kansas by 34 points. Kansas, one of the best programs in college basketball history. So they shot the 3 ball really well, like over like 50-60% that game. They were making everything. So is it a bit fluky? Yes. But is it still true that USC is one of the best teams remaining in the tournament? I think also yes. But at number 3, we have the Alabama Crimson Tide. Is this football? Is this football? Is this a football power ranking list? No, it is not. Alabama is legit this year. They got the Defensive Player of the Year in the SEC, and Herb Jones. And they got reliable scorers like Jaden Shackelford and John Petty Jr. He beat Iona barely. Not barely, but like the game was close in the second half. And then they beat Maryland pretty handily. Again, shooting the 3 ball really well. Running the fast break to perfection. They got all athletic guys. They love to play fast pace, as you can see, 96 points. I mean, come on. Maryland's a good defensive team. Alabama right now, just like their football team, I feel like their offense is unstoppable. Like 96 points against a good defensive team. And now they'll have to play UCLA, who is not the bestest of teams in this tournament. It's not like they're playing like a 3 or 4 seed. They're playing an 11 seed. So there's no reason why Alabama should not win that game. And I think they will make the Final Four 100%. Not 100%, but there's a really good chance that they will make the Final Four. The fact that there are 2 teams better than them is scary. One of those teams being the Baylor Bears. If this loads. There we go. So Baylor, they beat Hartford, no problem, 16 seed. Then I'm looking at this game against Wisconsin. They won by 13, but a Wisconsin team that was hot and a Wisconsin team that throttled North Carolina. So you have to take that into account as well. Since their COVID scare, Baylor's defense has not been what it used to be. It's their offense is still like the best three-point shooting team in the country. They have Jared Butler, Davian Mitchell, and Masio Teague, which is just scary. Like all these guys are like first or second team, all Big 12 members. So yeah, just the guard play on Baylor is just absolutely insane. They'll play Villanova, a wounded Villanova team. I think they should win that game. I hope I don't jinx this, but Baylor's defense starting to shape back into form, looking as good as it once was in before their COVID scare. So if their defense can hold up, then look out. But because of that, there is one team in front of them, and that's the machine that is the Gonzaga Bulldogs. This team just scores and scores and scores. 98 points in the first round. I get it, it's a 16 seed. But then 87-71 in a game that wasn't really close against Oklahoma. Like you don't normally expect these games to be like somewhat close. 16 points and a game that was at one point higher than that, or could have been higher than that, I should say, is scary. So Gonzaga is still undefeated. And who is Tim? I've never even heard of this guy, but you see Corey Kispert still shooting the 3 ball exceptionally well, and they got their top 10, likely NBA pick, but a top 10 recruit in Jalen Suggs. He's not even on like the high points, rebounds, or assists in these two games. That's how deep Gonzaga is. That's how explosive their offense is. Jalen Suggs is one of the best players in the country, and he's not even on like these stat leaders lists. I don't think anybody can beat Gonzaga right now, except for Baylor. I think it's going to be a Baylor and Gonzaga finals. And yeah, this Gonzaga team, I don't know how they will get stopped. The only two teams, I guess, because I think the only way you can beat Gonzaga is by outscoring them. So I think it's Alabama or Baylor that will end up beating Gonzaga if they lose. I could see them going undefeated as well. But yeah, Gonzaga's number one. That rounds out my top 16 Sweet 16 power rankings. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.